今天您将收看的是
富含激情的艺术魅力，才华横溢的音乐能力。今晚我们听音乐，让我们共同徜徉在著名男高音何塞库拉的美声世界。
大家好，观众朋友们，您现在看到的是今晚我们听音乐。在第21届上海国际艺术节期间，今夜无人入眠何塞库拉音乐会在上海东方艺术中心举行。在今天节目当中，我们就专程采访了这位阿根廷歌唱家何塞库拉以及他的朋友指挥家马里奥·德罗斯，请他们来谈谈这场音乐会的精彩之处。
10月20日，阿根廷著名男高音何塞库拉携手上海爱乐乐团与上海爱乐交响合唱团于上海东方艺术中心献演丑角《纳布科》《奥赛罗》《参孙与达利拉》《波西米亚人》《图兰朵》等歌剧剧目中的经典选段。
I have just landed in Shanghai. It's like 10 hours ago, so I cannot tell you too much about my first impressions, because for the moment my first impression is sleeping in the hotel, and the rehearsal with the orchestra and the choir we just started this morning. And so far it has been a very nice rehearsal with a very good organization. So the work has just begun, and so far is very smooth and very nice and very professional. So I think the next day will be the same. Well, I cannot tell you about my first impression of Shanghai city now, because I still have to see the city, because I came from the airport to the hotel and from the hotel to the rehearsal room. But I can tell you, yes, that the first time I came to Shanghai was like 15 years ago. And at the time it was a very noisy, very aggressive city, full of these motorcycles everywhere like mosquitoes. And what I discover now is that the city is different. There's silence now in the city. You don't hear anymore the klaxon of the cars. You know, when I came 15 years ago, it was like wang, 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 wang everywhere in the city. Now you don't hear the klaxons anymore. There are very few engines, and almost everything is electric. So it's a great change. To be in the center of Shanghai today is so different than what it was 15 years ago. 15 years ago was a very stressful experience, and today it's a very nice experience. So compliments to the authorities, because the big change you have operated in the city system, we can see it from outside and it feels very good. Congratulations.
何塞库拉与上海结缘甚早，2007年他就主演过上海大剧院与上海歌剧院联合制作的新版普契尼歌剧《图兰朵》。当时库拉引吭高歌的一曲《今夜无人入眠》，至今犹有回响。
It's not that I will perform Nessun Dorma again, is that any concert where there is a tenor singing, if you don't perform Nessun Dorma, the people kill you. So you have to perform Nessun Dorma, yes or yes, at the end of the concert, which I very much like, because it's a very nice piece. And I think I have sung Nessun Dorma probably 500 times in my life, almost everywhere in the planet. And it will be one more time for an audience that will love it. I think we tenors, we have to be very thankful to Giacomo Puccini, because he gave us that little short very effective aria, which every audience in the world likes very much.
何塞库拉宽厚明亮的嗓音令人惊艳不已。排练中，他要求既缜密严格，又充满激情。值得一提的是，库拉是一位身兼歌唱家、指挥家、作曲家、戏剧导演等身份于一体的音乐家。本次，他还亲自指挥上海爱乐乐团演奏威尔第歌剧《纳布科》中戏剧性与抒情性完美结合的管弦乐序曲。
I have just rehearsed before lunch with the Shanghai Philharmonic and the choir, the Nabucco pieces, and it was nice work. We still have a lot of work to do, but the orchestra responded very quickly. There's a lot of great talent in the Shanghai Philharmonic. There's a lot of very young and very solid technique. So it's an orchestra that you can really ask, you can really work with, because when you ask things, they do them. It's a very, very nice young professional orchestra. I was so happy to see young people in the orchestra. Almost 90% of them are very young. And that's a very good thing. Again, as we talked before about the young singers, now we're talking about the young musicians. It's very important that we help the new generations to achieve their goals, because we need them. The future is not me, the future is not him, the future is you.
此次来沪演出，何塞库拉只有不到48小时的排练时间，非常紧张。而库拉选择与自己最信任的指挥之一马里奥·德罗斯合作。演出在即，还有什么能比与老搭档合作更使人安心的呢？
Well, I met Mario in 2005 because I was very good friend with his wife, and his wife asked me if I could be her teacher, her singing teacher. So I started to work with his wife, and then she introduced me to Mario, who is a very experienced conductor. Mario has been conducting nearly 50 years, so he's a guy with a lot of experience. And we became very, very good friends immediately. And so much so that I am now the godfather of their kids. Little Valentino is my godson. So we have a very strong familiar bond, apart from the professional bond, which is also very, very good. Well, we have so many anecdotes that it's very difficult to find one anecdote. But what can I tell you is that when I do concerts like this concert now here, where we have only 2 days of rehearsals, and it's very strong and very difficult work, and in a very short time, I always ask Mario to come, because I really trust him like that, you know. He knows exactly what to do and what do I need. And that is a very, very important thing.
Well, no, it's totally different because this performance are in a very big theater in a very big festival. The other performances were in absolutely different, and this is with José Cura, which is maybe the most important difference. So the impression is really great. So the organization was perfect. The orchestra is very good. They work very well. They have a very good environment of work. So the impression are absolutely the best.
意大利及阿根廷指挥家马里奥·德罗斯曾创作许多管弦乐作品和歌剧，同时他还是阿根廷拉普拉塔歌剧院的院长。2005年起，他与何塞库拉合作，在欧洲各地演出，同时他也多次与匈牙利布达佩斯的管弦乐队、合唱团和独奏家们合作演出。自2011年以来，他一直担任捷克共和国布威剧院的音乐总监。
I studied music from my childhood, so I actually it was all my life. So and I think that music is a universal language in which I can communicate with everybody and anybody. So that is maybe the most important thing to me. For it's the same communication when I'm with a Chinese orchestra or with an Austrian orchestra, when I Czech orchestra, the communication are the same, and this is a great thing. Well, we have a very special way of working because we know each other, of course, but I know him and he's a star, and not for chance. He's a very, very great artist, and I know this, and that is why I know how our relationship can take the best for everybody. This is the most important thing in the work with José. I think José is one of the biggest artists nowadays in the world, and not only, of course, I'm not only talking as him about like a singer, but and really an artist, the singer, the conductor, the composer, that the regie maker. So it's one of the most complete artists that I know in the world, and actually, of course, we are very good friends, very close friends, but he's a great person.
此次演出中，为电视观众所熟知的耶鲁大学歌剧表演博士、男中音洪之光，以及上海歌剧院首席女高音歌唱家徐小英， 都在本场音乐会中与何塞库拉同台表演。
Well, I cannot tell you anything about these young singers because I met them today. But yes, I ask always when I do concerts to have some local singers, young local singers, to help the promotion of the new voices, the new talent. Because I think that if my generation, I am 56, almost 57, if my generation doesn't help the new generation to come up, we will not have a new generation, and we need a new generation. So we have to be very supportive of the talented people. And these two singers are very talented, very young, and I'm very, very happy to have them with me in the concert.
接下来您将收看的是
上世纪60年代，何塞库拉出生于阿根廷一个富庶的家庭，从小父母就引导孩子们热爱和钻研古典音乐。15岁时，他就以合唱指挥的身份初次登台。之后，库拉的生活就与音乐紧紧相连。上世纪60年代，何塞库拉出生于阿根廷一个富庶的家庭，从小父母就引导孩子们热爱和钻研古典音乐。15岁时，他就以合唱指挥的身份初次登台。之后，库拉的生活就与音乐紧紧相连。直到1994年获得第2届多明戈国际声乐大赛头奖，声名鹊起。
When I was a kid, a real little kid, when I was 7 or 8, my father wanted me to learn piano. And I went to the piano teacher, and after 2 months, she sent me home with a note saying that the little Jose is not interested in music, find him another hobby. So I started to do other things, and only when I was 12 or 13 I came back to music. And I came back to music not for singing, but for the guitar and for the composing. So I did the career of composition and of conducting. And much later, when I was already a man, I discovered I had a very special voice and that I also could sing. So my real background is conductor and composer, and I started to sing much later.
库拉的身材魁梧，音色辉煌浓厚，是一位不可多得的英雄式戏剧男高音。很多评论家将他与多明戈相提并论，但其实在这之外，他还在指挥、作曲等领域多期发展。有人这样形容库拉：一个不想当导演的指挥不是好的歌唱家。也许正因为在这个讲究跨界的年代里，库拉丰富多彩的艺术魅力才得以如此迸发。
Well, I have one very, very, very big inspiration. And it's that when you get to my age, you suddenly discover that life is very short. My best inspiration is when you get to my age, 56, still young, but not younger, not super young, is that you discover that life is very short and time is passing very fast. And that's the greatest inspiration to move and to do things. When you're very young, you always say tomorrow, 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 after tomorrow, next week. When you get to a certain age, you say, okay, today. Because if you don't do today, tomorrow is too late. I'm very happy and I'm very proud because my singing career was very good. I cannot complain, of course. But it was more a surprise for myself than a project. In my project was conducting and composing. And now, finally, after so many years singing, I am back to my original project and I'm composing again and I'm conducting a lot. And also singing, of course.
好，以上就是今天节目的全部内容，非常感谢各位的收看，让我们下一次再见。
下期您将收看的是，
作为第21届上海国际艺术节的参演剧目，以色列著名剧作家列文的经典作品《安魂曲》的中文版在上海美琪大剧院上演了。